Hi, this is Tony, and we're back on the bench. And this evening, we're going to be doing another spinning or spin cast reel service video. So this is a Zebco 606, and this reel actually belongs to my dad. And he doesn't fish anymore, but I remember using this reel as a kid, off and on, for a handful of years and catching a lot of fish with it. But it's definitely in need of some cleaning and some service, and it was sitting in a box, with some other reels that also belonged to my dad. And I just figured, all right, well, I'm going to go through all these and clean them up, and we'll talk along the way of how the reel works and what you got to do to clean it and service it. So this is old school, though. This is a metal housing here, which is kind of cool. So we're going to just kind of start with the basics here. So, you just need a couple of basic tools. So we've got a 5/16 nut driver, but anyone can work on these reels, honestly, with some basic tools around the house and a little bit of workspace, a little bit of patience. You typically don't really need schematics, to figure it out. Not with, with these kinds of reels. They're pretty simple in terms of their design and the way they go together. But the 606 and the 600 series, I believe, are very, very similar. I've worked on 600s before quite a few times. Okay, so you got a top cap that comes off. That's real easy. Okay, and then you got a nut up here that also needs to come out. You can drop the bottom section, though, right now. Really, all that's holding these pieces together is that screw, literally. Again, very simple design. Now, this reel hasn't, done much in a long time, so it's relatively clean, but it's also dry. There's no grease on the gears or anything like that, so it's definitely, due for that kind of stuff. So we're going to take this top nut off, the same nut driver here. Okay, take that off. Okay, and then we're gonna clean up in here as we go. Just get any old oil or grease out of here, essentially. And while we're here, we're just gonna take some Reel X and just take a little bead of that right here. Let that work its way in there. Okay. And then we've got a snap ring here that comes out. Should be relatively easy. Just pry it out with a little screwdriver. All right, then your spool comes out. Okay, and then at this point, you should be able to pull your pinion gear out. Okay, and I'm noticing here, there's actually some teeth that have been compromised on here. I don't believe it's the business end of the pinion gear. I think it's on the lower end, but you can see up here there's actually some teeth that have been torn a little bit. These are old reels, and, metals fatigue over time and whatnot. Then there's also just being a little too rough sometimes. You hit a snag or something like that and you yank on it. I know I did plenty of that when I was a kid, it's nothing unusual. Okay, so we've got our main gear that pops right out. Okay, and then the rest of these pieces, they don't really come apart, and it's not necessary for them to come apart. Okay, you can kind of see that these are like riveted in, essentially. All right, but all you need to do is just take a little shop towel here and just clean up the inside a little bit. Okay, like so. Real simple. All right, there's really no big magic to this. Okay, we're just going to clean around the top part of the housing here. Okay, these pieces are in relatively good shape, but we're just going to hit them just with a little bit of WD right here, right now. Okay, and we'll just take the brass wire brush to these here. Okay, then we're also going to take some of that 4/0 steel wool that we like to use on drive shafts such as this and this. Just have nice smooth surfaces here, nice and clean. Okay, make sure all of our other pieces and parts are clean. We're going to take that Reel X oil to these points here, all these moving points remember, 1 bead of oil or 2 beads of oil in the right place is better than, you know, a bunch of oil in the wrong place. All right, that's just kind of a basic little tactic there. Okay, so, you know, I've seen a lot of reels that come on in, and it's like somebody just hit them with a ton of grease, you know, all over the entire side of the housing, and, you know, or a bunch of oil or both or whatever, or Vaseline. Don't use Vaseline. That's probably one of the worst things that you could use in a fishing reel. Okay, make sure that any products that you use they're made for fishing reels. Now, I like to keep these Q-tips nearby, like this one. Okay, just to clean out these crevices here. You know, not too bad really, but you just want to get these surfaces clean as much as possible. Okay, and then we're going to go to our Penn Precision Blue Grease here, or any other reel grease that's made for fishing reels. Okay, and we're going to hit our shaft with that a little bit, and with a little bit here on the teeth as well. You don't need to overdo this, just get enough of it on there to get into the teeth. It'll work its way in like so. And then same deal here with our pinion gear. Okay, like so. Okay, it should be something like that. All right, and then we're ready to go back and slide these back into position like so. Okay, slide the pinion gear back down into place like that. Okay, simple, easy. Okay, and then you just want to inspect your spool, make sure that it's in good shape. Slide that back on. You got your snap ring that's going to go back on. I usually take a pair of needle nose pliers to put those back on. And they fall off sometimes like that. Yeah, real simple reel to work on, actually. Anyone can really do this. And we've got our top cap here. Just going to clean it up gently here. All right, we already hit some oil under here. Now you just want to make sure that when you're going to put this back on, all right, it's got to go back on the screw, because the screw has a flat side to it there. So you want to make sure that that is lined up correctly. And you also need to make sure that this is going back on. It's supposed to rest along the edge here. And this is a little tricky to do because you can't really see what you're doing, and there's no way to access that from up top on this particular old school model here. So you just kind of have to finesse it, and you'll know when you get enough screw coming out, you'll know that it's correct like that. Okay, and then you put your top nut back on like so. And just gently tighten that. Just give it a tight one little turn like that. You don't need to torque it down or anything like that. That's how you usually end up breaking things. Okay, and then at this point, you know, we're just going to make sure that everything is clean on the inside of this here. You know, a lot of dirt and debris and sand ends up getting, you know, in these housings here. Okay, and then you just need to make sure there's a little hole and a little notch down here, and you need to put the bottom piece in, the bottom portion of it first. And then you should be able to snap it upright like that. And then take your top piece, and it's the same drill there. Kind put the bottom in first. Sometimes you got to finagle it a little bit. Okay, it should look like that. And then you got this one screw that holds that in place. Just give that a couple of turns. Don't over tighten it though, because you don't want to break this ring. And this ring here is like a really light metal, it's, I think on this one it actually is a metal, but on others it's plastic. So you just want to be careful of that. I think on the 600 series, I think this is actually some kind of a plastic. At least one of the 600s. Okay, so you don't want to over tighten that. Okay, and then you got your handle. Put that back on. There's no real like drag star system to this or anything like that. It's just a real simple design. You've got a drag tensioner right here, essentially, that applies pressure, and that's it. Real simple. Okay. So there you have it. The reverse working good. And this is actually like a notifier in this mode here, you know, where, you know, if you get a fish on, it'll make that sound, and you'll know that there's something going on. So, you know, that was, you know, at the time, you know, that was a feature, you know, known as a click, you know, that we all know today, basically, right? So there you have it. That's the Zebco 606, all serviced. And, you know, I probably won't be using this reel, but it'll be good to know that it's been serviced and it's being taken care of, because it holds a lot of memories. So thanks again for watching. This is Tony with Back on the Bench. If you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please make sure you do subscribe. Hit the notification button. That way you will be getting all the updates as to when there are new videos coming out. And there will be quite a few more coming out, hopefully, here in the weeks and months to follow. And we'll be seeing you then.